Hey everybody, Wishtree, Chapter 12. By this time, the lanky boy had walked past me, swiveled, and returned. So he turned around and came back. Glancing over his shoulder, he stepped onto the brown lawn that blanketed my roots. The air changed, quivering the way it will when people are near, with chemicals, with pulsing heat, with humanness. And then it happened. He dug into my trunk with the object that was in his hand. Fast and deliberate. What do you suppose he's using? Again, he checked his surroundings. So he's looking over his shoulder. An elderly, meaning an older woman, crossing the street, smiled at him and shook her head. She was probably thinking, how sweet. I bet he's carving a heart with initials in it. Oh, to be young and in love. People are under the impression that trees don't mind being carved into, especially if hearts are involved. For the record, we mind. I'd never seen the boy before. He was big, maybe a high schooler. It's hard to know with people. With a tree, I can sense to the month, sometimes to the day its age. We couldn't tell what he was carving, of course, but I couldn't tell what he was carving, of course, but I could tell from the determined way he moved that it was meant to hurt. Not me. Somehow I sensed it wasn't meant to hurt me. I was just the canvas. That said, it's not exactly a picnic, getting hacked into. Bark is my skin, my protection from the world. Any wounds make it harder to fight off disease and insects. I wanted to yell, stop, to say something, anything, but of course I didn't. It's not our way. Trees are meant to listen, to observe, to endure. This was done quickly, or he was done quickly. He stood back, admired his work, gave a little nod, and left. As he walked away, I saw the tool clutched in his fist. A little screwdriver with a yellow handle. I thought it was a knife. Thin as a twig, bright as a meadowlark. Chapter 13. There's Bongo. Bongo was the first to see what had happened to me. She landed at the base of my trunk, head cocked, meaning she's looking up. Dropping a potato chip into her beak, she cried, I leave you alone for a few minutes and look what happens. What on earth? It seems someone mistook me for a pumpkin, I said. When she didn't smile, I added, because I was carved. For the millionth time, Red, explaining doesn't make things any funnier. Bongo flew off my lowest scaffold branch, one of my big primary limbs. She examined my injury. Does it hurt? Not the way an injury might hurt you. Trees are different that way. I gotta do something, Bongo said. There's nothing to be done. You've got a major boo-boo. I want to help. You're a wise old tree. Tell me what to do. Really, Bongo, time heals all wounds. Bongo hates it when I philosophize. She rolls her eyes, at least I think she did. It's hard to tell with crows. Their eyes are more like blackberries, dark and dewy. I just hope my bark isn't ruined, I said. That's my favorite side. It's not ruined, just decorated. Like those tattoos people get? Bongo nudged me with her beak. Show me who did this. I'll get him. I'll squawk at his window in the middle of the night. I'll dive bomb him and yank out some hair. She flapped her wings. I'll make a deposit on his head every day for a year. Meaning she'll poop on him. I didn't ask what kind of deposit. I was quite sure I knew. Dear Bongo, I said, that won't be necessary. Bongo shifted from foot to foot, something she did when she was working out a problem. She said, it's almost time for wishing day. Maybe this is some kind of wish? Just a poorly delivered one? Another wishing day, I repeated. It seemed like we had just done one. Had a whole year already gone by? Days have a way of slipping past like raindrops in a river. One more round, Bongo said, of greedy people bugging you with their needs. One more round of hopeful people wishing for better things, I corrected. Wishing day was always a bit hard on me and my residents. Usually the animals and birds stayed away that day to avoid curious hands and endless photographs. But it was just one day. I understood its history and my role in it. I knew people were full of longings, meaning like wants and wishes. A mother tugged a toddler along the sidewalk, frozen in place when she saw my trunk. Mommy, what does that say? Asked the little girl, who was clutching, like holding on to a stuffed toy dog by its bedraggled tail. The mother didn't answer. Mommy? They crossed the lawn. The mother stepped close to me. It says, leave, L-E-A-V-E, she finally said. Like trees have leaves? So that's what it looks like. Like trees have leaves? Gently, the mother traced my cuts with her index finger. Maybe, she answered, maybe like that. She looked over at the two houses near me. Shaking her head, she tightened her grip on the little girl's hand. Let's hope that's all it means. Chapter 14. Those houses. My houses. One painted blue, one painted green. One with a black door, one with a brown door. One with a yellow mailbox, one with a red mailbox. For well over a century, I stared at them, prim and proper, same small size, same boxy shape, same pitched roofs and squat brick chimneys, architectural siblings, meaning they look a lot alike. Long before they were a glimmer in some builder's eye, I was here right in the middle of things. If my roots stretched past the property line that separated them, well, that's never been my concern. Roots can be unruly. Mine explored the earth below both houses, pirouetting around their plumbing, anchoring their foundations. I spread my shade fairly. I dropped my leaves evenly. I bombed their roofs with acorns in equal number. I did not play favorites. Over the years, many families had called those houses home. Babies and teenagers, grandparents and great-grandparents. They spoke Chinese and Spanish, Yoruba and English and French Creole. They ate tamales and pani puri, dim sum and fufu and grilled cheese sandwiches. Different languages, different foods, different customs. That's our neighborhood, wild and tangled and colorful, like the best kind of garden. A few months ago, a new family, Samar's family, rented the blue house.